It was a quiet afternoon at a dusty roadside diner. Nothing but the hum of engines, the clatter of plates, and the faint smell of coffee in the air. A group of bikers had stopped for lunch after a long ride, men and women with leather jackets, heavy boots, and loud laughter that filled the room. Then suddenly, the door creaked open. A young girl, barely 16, rushed in. Her eyes were wide with terror. Her hands trembled. She looked around as if searching for safety, for a place to disappear. Without saying a word, she crawled under one of the bikers' tables and hid behind their boots. The men looked down in surprise, unsure what to do. Seconds later, the diner door burst open again. A tall man stormed in, red-faced, angry, and breathing heavily. "You seen a girl come in here?" he growled at the waitress. Everyone in the diner froze. But the bikers, oh, they exchanged looks that said more than words ever could. Something in their hearts told them the truth. They didn't know the girl, but they knew danger when they saw it. One of the bikers, a man named Ray, leaned back in his chair, meeting the stepdad's furious eyes. "What girl?" he said calmly, his tone carrying the weight of steel. The man glared around the room, his voice rising. "My stepdaughter. She ran away. She's trouble." The bikers didn't flinch. They'd seen trouble before, real trouble. But there was something about this man's eyes, cold, calculating, filled with control. When he finally stomped out, slamming the door, the bikers waited until his truck rumbled down the road. Then Ray slowly bent down and said softly, "You can come out now, sweetheart." From under the table, the girl crawled out, her face pale, her eyes wet with tears. She looked fragile, terrified, and broken. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked. They won't believe me," she whispered. "He hurts me, every day, and nobody listens." The diner went silent. Even the jukebox stopped. The bikers sat there, these rough, tattooed riders with scars and hard lives, looking at a child who had never known kindness. And in that moment, they made an unspoken promise. Ray and his crew, known as the Iron Hawks, weren't lawbreakers, but they lived by their own code: protect those who can't protect themselves. They gathered the girl's story piece by piece. The abuse, the nights she'd spent locked in her room, the fear that had driven her to run. They didn't need more proof. They believed her. That night, under a sky full of stars, they made a plan. One biker rode to town to alert the sheriff, an old friend of theirs. Another found the girl a safe place to stay. But when the stepdad returned the next day with threats and rage, he didn't expect what he saw. Dozens of bikes lined up outside the diner, chrome shining, engines growling like thunder. The Iron Hawks stood shoulder to shoulder, forming a wall between the girl and her abuser. Ray stepped forward. "You're not taking her," he said. "She's safe now, and you better start thinking about who's really watching." The sheriff arrived just in time, papers in hand, and cuffs ready. The truth came out, and the man's lies unraveled. The bikers didn't cheer. They didn't need to. Justice had spoken louder than any roar of an engine. Weeks later, the girl sat on the back of Ray's bike, smiling for the first time in years. The wind brushed her face, the sun warmed her skin, and the road stretched out endlessly before her. She wasn't a runaway anymore. She was free. The Iron Hawks had taken her in, not as a charity case, but as family. They made sure she went back to school, that she had people who would protect her, guide her, and remind her every day that love is not supposed to hurt. And as the engines roared again, Ray said, "Kid, sometimes family isn't the one you're born into, it's the one that rides in to save you." So to everyone listening today, remember this: you don't need to be a hero in armor to change a life. Sometimes, all it takes is compassion, courage, and a heart that refuses to stay silent. Because somewhere out there, another scared soul is looking for a place to hide, and maybe, just maybe, under your table lies the chance to do something truly extraordinary.